Every video game icon had to start somewhere, right? As gamers, we're usually only privy to viewing the finished product, unaware of how much focus testing and overhauls the lead character has gone through. But all that's about to change. I'm James from Games Radar, and these are 7 original prototypes for gaming's iconic heroes. Sonic was Mr. Needlemouse. Sega's mascot almost didn't have a nose. Before he was known as Sonic the Hedgehog, the blue blur was codenamed Mr. Needlemouse. Needlemouse being the Japanese translation of hedgehog, which, when you think about it, makes a lot more sense. One concept portrayed him as a bug-eyed, noseless egghead with a creepy smile. Another gave Needlemouse a humanoid face slapped onto a stubby, prickly body. But the cherry on top of the weirdness cake was the concept art for Madonna, an illogically proportioned human woman that would serve as the hedgehog's love interest and chase him around each stage. It also bears mentioning that at one point Sonic was going to be the lead singer in a rock band composed of other anthropomorphic animals, but fortunately this was axed from the final product. Crash Bandicoot was Willy the Wombat. Crash Bandicoot is already a goofball of a hero, but that's nothing compared to his original concept. Naughty Dog co-founders Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin wanted to craft a potential Sony mascot, and were inspired by cartoonish animals like Sonic the Hedgehog and Looney Tunes' Tasmanian Devil. So they decided to see what other marsupials might make for a compelling video game hero. They first landed on Willy the Wombat, a short sporting buffoon with a tail and kind of lobotomized wide-eyed grin that you'd expect to find on a Chuck E. Cheese robot. And then there was the problem of his name being a penis synonym. Gavin and Rubin eventually came to their senses, and Willy the Wombat was scrapped, replaced by an orange Bandicoot called Crash. Kratos was the God of Dreadlocks. Besides his snazzy goatee and eyebrows, our favourite ashen-skinned anti-hero is as bald as the day is long. But there was a time during the original God of War's production when Kratos sported some seriously sweet dreadlocks. If you poke around the bonus character graveyard unlocked after beating the original God of War, you'll find this magnificently haired chap in the lineup of Kratos prototypes. This was the art director's first pick to be the vengeful demigod, but the design didn't sit right with creator David Jaffe, who deemed the dreadlock design not brutal enough and not vicious enough to be the star of God of War. Having seen this design as the unlockable Forgotten Warrior costume in God of War 3, we're inclined to agree. Gordon Freeman was Ivan the Space Biker. So you think Gordon Freeman's just some mute four-eyed lab geek, right? When this black Mesa scientist was first being built, his character model was a burly fella with a tan-coloured heavy suit and a beard that would put any modern-day Viking to shame. The somewhat goofy appearance of this character model earned him the name Ivan the Space Biker. We may not know what the top scientists in secret government facilities look like, but we're guessing they don't look like this. That said, Ivan does have Gordon's green eyes and brown hair, so perhaps he's just an alternative universe version of Freeman who's living under a freeway somewhere. Sackboy was Yellowhead. Much like Portal or Octodad, Media Molecule's Little Big Planet started as a small proof-of-concept game. In the case of LBP, that was Craftworld, which showed off the fun gameplay brought about by combining a responsive physics engine with traditional 2D platforming. It starred Yellowhead, a dinky hero composed of simple lines and shapes. Yellowhead could pull and prod objects in his environment, demonstrating how the concept would work in a full game. Of course, Yellowhead wasn't nearly as jolly as our beloved Sackboy, given that he was entirely expressionless. But Media Molecule hasn't forgotten about the little guy, including him as a secret character for those who can beat Little Big Planet's final level without dying. Croc was Yoshi. Before the concept of Yoshi's story came about, Argonaut Software approached Nintendo with a plan for a Yoshi game. The concept would bring Mario's trusty Dino pal into the spotlight, letting him explore a fully 3D world powered by the Nintendo 64. Nintendo told Argonaut to go stuff themselves, wanting to retain full control over any game starring its iconic characters. Slightly put out by the rejection, Argonaut cut ties with Nintendo, developing their own idea into Croc Legend of the Gobbos, and turning the reptile lead into Croc, a vegetarian crocodile, who still looks a bit like Yoshi. Argonaut then purposefully released Croc on Nintendo's competing platforms, PC, PS1 and Saturn. Argonaut founder Jez Sand said in an interview that Miyamoto came up to me at a show afterwards and apologised for not doing the Yoshi game with us, and thanked us for the idea to do a 3D platform game, which roughly translates to Super Mario 64 was better than Croc. Ratchet and Clank were 2 reptilian aliens. Yep, originally Ratchet and Clank were a pair of lizard-like heroes. Insomniac Games posted on the PlayStation blog that the idea was to create a spunky alien with a crazy gadget gauntlet and some bionic commando traversal abilities. That core idea led to the creation of this, a secret agent gecko decked out in the latest spy tech. Over time, Ratchet became hairier with each new iteration of his design, and eventually his reptilian body gave way to a more relatable cat form. Clank had a similar alien design, which resembled a robotic salamander. His body also changed, but the adorably enormous eyes stayed the same. So now you know. Add to this that Spyro the Dragon was originally green instead of purple, but blended in too much with his grassy environments. Lara Croft was initially Laura Cruz, and a man before that, but the name was changed to sound more British in accordance with her heritage, and you've got a huge sack full of facts to tell your friends. If you know of any other prototypes, then let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews and features right here on Games Radar Plus.